Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. So I wanted to just quickly do this video and just have you guys sitting up there because I'm about to do a public speaking gig. So this is obviously another university gig where I'm talking about pitching and presentation, and then the forum will be open up to questions. So I'll be answering live questions, and I thought that this would just, provide value to you guys as well. And I hope you find something useful and beneficial in this. So I thought I would just record. So I'm about to just log in now, just getting myself ready. And yes, I am still very nervous. I always get nervous before a public speaking gig. It's just something that, is always the case for me. So it's 5:47, just connecting my internet. And then I think we are good to go. This is for the New South Wales University here in Sydney. It's part of the Sandbox Society. But yeah, I'm just about to log in, and I just noticed there's actually a delivery waiting for me downstairs, which I really want to go grab because it's a Zara delivery and I just want to try on all the clothes. But I forgot to do this. Okay, cool. Awesome. So hi everyone. My name is Sanjna. Thank you for having me firstly as a guest on this session. I hope to provide you all with some sort of value today around, pitching and presentations, and just sharing my story a little bit with you guys as well, given my experience working in the corporate world. So I've got my social media handles there as well in case you are interested in following me. Shameless plug there, but I am on YouTube and Instagram as well if you are interested. Okay, so just a little bit about, who I am, in case you don't know. So my name is Sanjna. I'm 26 years old. I currently work at Westpac as a risk manager, and I have been in this role for about 18 months or so. Started there at 24, and I was apparently the youngest in the team, which was an achievement for me. I think I was about 5 years younger than the rest of the team, so I was pretty proud of myself for getting in there. And prior to that, I was at kpmg. I started as a graduate, so it was within the internal audit and risk consulting space. So I was there for about 2.5 years, and then obviously before that I was at university. I went to Macquarie University, graduated in 2017, which is obviously seems like it was a while away now, but completed my bachelor's degree in commerce, and I've majored in economics and commercial law. I've got obviously a YouTube channel as well with about 28k subscribers, and I talk mainly about study, career and personal finance on there. So let's move on. So this is my social media, my YouTube, in case you are interested in any of that sort of content. And I recently created an Instagram page as well if you are interested. I do have weekly Q&As on my Instagram, which I do answer. So if we don't go through any of your questions this time around, I'm happy to answer them if you want on my social media. Okay, so just wanted to go through my story in terms of presentations and pitching. I know I was talking to Parthiv before, and just telling him that honestly presentations haven't been my forte. I'm a very sort of introverted, quiet, shy kind of person, and struggled definitely over the years when it came to presenting and talking in front of large crowds. But I'm here today, and I've obviously learned something along the way, and I'm talking to you guys all. So just wanted to share a story with you because I feel like a lot of you guys can resonate or relate with it. So this is a story from when I started at kpmg. I was a grad, so 6 months into the grad program we had to do some training, and the training was an all-day training event with obviously other graduates from different divisions or different parts of the firm. And we came back from our lunch break. First half of the day was done. We came back, and we were all sort of asked, or we were told that we were going to have to do a public speaking sort of a session where we would talk about anything for 2 minutes straight. So it could be anything that we like, and talk 2 minutes. And honestly, when I heard that, that was the most scariest thing in my life because public speaking is not my thing. I just end up being that person that gets the sweaty palms, end up just getting a red face and stuttering as well. I've got a really bad stutter, so I don't know, you might notice it in this presentation. But yeah, we had to present for 2 minutes, and it wasn't just any ordinary presentation. We were sort of made to stand in the middle where everyone was sitting around us in a circle, and then the facilitator had to record us while we were talking so that we could, go back and watch our presentation and see where we could improve. So everyone obviously went through, there were about 30 people in our class, and one by one everyone kept volunteering and going ahead, and I obviously was too afraid to volunteer, and I ended up actually going last just because I didn't volunteer. And if you go last, I don't know if you have done before, but it is the most daunting experience ever. It's really hard because you're watching everyone go through it and you're last to go, so I don't recommend that. But I went up and you had to talk about anything, right? So I came up with this lame story about how I had, gone to New Zealand after 14 years and I visited my friends and family, and it was honestly a very, very lame story. Within the first 10-15 seconds, I actually remember stuttering like really hard, and my sentences it was very truncated sort of sentences, and I just wasn't able to articulate my story really well. And I was like, can I start again? And the facilitator was like, no, you can't start again. And then I had to just continue, and honestly that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. I didn't even go for the full 2 minutes, and oh my goodness, just like remembering that story is just insane, because I was that person that would just freak out giving public speaking talks. So what I did, obviously I had to do something about it, because
hi guys, just jumping in today to mention today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Basically, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You're able to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. So a class that I've recently been taking is the Art of Storytelling in Communication and Presentation, Stories that Inspire Actions by Nan Tran, who is an international leadership instructor. Now, a lot of you know that presentation and pitching really isn't my forte, so I have been taking this class to sort of brush up on my skills and really understand what it is that I need to change to be able to do this. So if you are interested in working on your presentation skills, then I definitely recommend this class for you. So Skillshare have thousands of online classes available. Some topics include illustration, graphic design, creative writing, animation, production, film and video, marketing, productivity, freelance and entrepreneurship, and honestly the list could go on. And what I love about Skillshare is that it is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So if this sounds like something you would be interested in, then definitely click the link in the description box below, because the first 1,000 subscribers to click the link in the description box below will get a free trial of the premium membership, which is honestly amazing, and that too ad-free. Now back to the video.
It's not good to, public speaking is something that you need to understand and you need to know, because you could have to do a presentation anywhere at this in your career or at uni. So that's when I decided to start my YouTube channel, because I thought that would be a good avenue for me to sort of, even though it's not in front of people, it's still, a virtual audience. So that's sort of my story and how I sort of overcame that. Obviously you don't have to start a YouTube channel to overcome your fears in presentations or, public speaking, but there's a lot of resources out there, and obviously practice makes perfect. And yeah, honestly, the fear that you get, you should sort of treat it as like a bit of an adrenaline rush. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on presentations, and I feel like I've come a long way because I'm obviously doing this today. But I just wanted to share that with you and just sort of let you guys know that I was in the same boat, because I know a lot of people are very nervous with public speaking as well. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling on, but let's get into pitching. So I think the best way to think about pitching in terms of, the career context is when you pitch yourself in job interviews. This is obviously where, you stand up for yourself and you're talking about all of the good things about yourself and what you can bring. So we've got then obviously the elevator pitch as well. This is obviously where, for example, you're in an elevator and you bump into someone and someone asks you, tell me about yourself. This could be your potential, could be a potential employer, someone that you really want to work for, and they ask you this. So what can you say in 30 seconds that can really just grab their attention and have them wanting more about knowing about you? So if we move forward, so here I've got 3 sort of tips that I think, or structure that you can sort of curate your elevator pitch. So first one is, who are you and what do you do? So I've got an example here which I've written for myself. Obviously this will be different because you guys are still obviously at university. So here I've got, hi, my name is Sanjna. I've been working in risk management for about 4 years now. Prior to my current role at Westpac, I was at KPMG working as a graduate in the internal audit division. So that ticks off, who you are and what you do. And then you should sort of look at, why should they care? Like, what do you sort of, what value are you giving to them? And here I've mentioned, given the experience that I've had working in many different organizations and companies as part of secondments that I undertook, I've worked in a variety of different organizations, finance, government, healthcare, banking. So I've got a broad knowledge and a broad skill set around different processes and practices. So that's the value that I can bring. In terms of, what do you want and why are you here? Basically, you be upfront with them. You say, in my job search, I'm looking for a place that's dynamic in nature. I want to be working in a fast-paced environment, one that can really sort of, challenge me and get me thinking. And then, if you do have time, I do recommend saying the last point around asking for job availabilities, seeing if there's any, internships available. But that's basically the sort of pitching structure that I would follow in terms of the career sort of side of things. Okay, so let's move on to presentations. I'm sure we've all had to do them at some point in our lives. As much as we hate them, they're really a good way to shine in front of your boss, your colleagues, clients. So we should really embrace it, because it really sort of trains you up as well. And the more presentations that you do, the better you obviously get at it. So a few tips here that I want to mention, which I've definitely found helpful in my time, obviously presenting at university as well, and in the workplace. So understanding your content. I think this is very important, because if you don't actually understand or fully understand your content, you're not going to be able to come across as genuine. It's going to look very fake and very rehearsed. So you don't want to, rote learn everything, because people will obviously be able to tell. So you want to understand the content that you're talking about. You want to use personal stories. So people obviously all tend to sort of gravitate and really relate and resonate well with personal stories. I know if someone mentions a story, we're quick to sort of, identify things that we can relate to. So personal stories are always a good one. Engage with your audience as well. So perhaps start, by asking a question or a poll before you start, just to get people ready and alert before you do start. And follow through with these polls and questions as well, because you want to make sure people aren't, sleeping through your presentation. So talk slowly. This is one big one that I've definitely noticed, and I've definitely become aware of as well, because I usually tend to talk very fast, and if I talk fast, I'm obviously going to stutter and I'm going to get really stressed out, and then anxiety will start peaking, and it's just like a vicious cycle. So talk slowly, take a pause when you need to, breathe, and maintain eye contact as well. You don't want to be looking at, your presentation or the board or whatever it is. You want to be looking at people, because this reflects confidence. Confidence is a very big part in, presenting as well. Okay, well, I think in terms of speakers in business and entrepreneurship, I think a big one for me, I've mentioned this before as well on my channel, and I think it has to be, honestly, Gary Vee. I just like his oomph, the power, the confidence that he's got. It's just honestly so inspiring. He's got a very good work ethic. He's, dominating. And in terms of inspiration, 100% has to be Gary Vee. I recommend listening to his podcast, his books. He's definitely one that's up there. I really like hearing from lots of different influencers that aren't just influencers. They're actually doing something else and running their own business. Oh, how funny. My mom's actually just calling me right now. Sorry, Mom. I'm gonna decline that one. Yeah, influencers that are actually doing something and, starting up their own business of some sort. I think that's very good to see. There's obviously a lot that you can look up, but yeah, I would say Gary Vee is my favorite. So I think the best thing to do is pretend like it never even happened, and if you don't make it a big deal, then no one else will. But if you stop and then you're like flustered and then you become really sort of, you know, agitated, obviously people are going to remember that, right? So you want it to not be a big deal, and if you don't show that, people obviously won't remember. Just take a pause, then just continue, and you know, just take a few minutes. And if it's only been a couple of seconds into your speech, you can just start again as well. It's not a big deal. But I think just being cool, calm, collected, and just not making it a big deal, no one else will either. Yeah, let me just open up my Apple podcast right now and see which ones I've been listening to. So I mean, if you want to look into personal finance, I have a favorite one. So it's one of my mates just launched a podcast around personal finance and investing. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. I also listen to the Real podcast by Natalie Barbu. So she has a lot of different people that come onto her podcast, and she gets, you know, experience and, you know, learnings from different walks of life. People are from, you know, I don't know, engineering, business, you know, healthcare. So she talks a lot about, you know, people's experiences and what they go through, even when, you know, starting a business up. I like Vanessa Lau. She's really good. She talks about, you know, starting your own business. So I think that's a good one. I listen to a lot of money related ones. 5 a.m. Miracle with Jeff Sanders as well, if you're interested in, you know, productivity. And then I've got, what else is there? She's on the Money. A lot of, you know, female orientated ones, because I like listening to obviously boss women, and that's really uplifting for me. But yeah, those are a few. I think with a memorable speech, I think making it very sort of relatable and one that people can really resonate with, that always sort of gets people's attention. A very sort of compelling story, something that's happened. You want to take people on a journey as well, and if you can, you know, the art of storytelling is honestly a big one. If you can storytell really well, that's a plus point, even, you know, in your presentations and your speeches. And just being persuasive. I think using tones as well, not always just being very monotone. I think tone is a very big one. If you go from low to high, you can just, you know, wake people up, and it just becomes very engaging. That's the word. Oh, 100%. It's better to use short pauses. There, I just did So if you end up saying the word or that's a sign that you should have taken a pause and not just use a filler word, because it's okay to take pauses. If you use the word and it's not professional, and it sort of shows or implies that you don't know what you're talking about, or you're thinking of, you know, what to say next and you don't have enough to say. So instead, just take a pause. It's just more professional. It's okay for some, you know, awkward silences to occur. Yeah, and I just did it again, so. Yeah, so why I started, my motivation, it definitely is obviously the confidence thing. That was definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, overcome my fears, and at the time I didn't think of anything else. And honestly, I did have a passion of, you know, being in front of the camera, and at that time I was sort of influenced by, you know, models and acting and stuff like that. So I really did want to look into that, but I knew I was very shy. I was very quiet, and I thought that this would be the best avenue to go about it, because no one's going to be there watching you, and the best thing is you can edit things out, and you don't have to, you know, be, you know, perfect when you are recording, so you can edit it out. And that's what I loved, because, you know, you can put the best version of yourself out, and no one has to know, you know, what you went through and all the struggles and all the retakes. In terms of motivation, yeah, it was just, I really enjoy actually editing videos as well. It's something that is really sort of calming for me and very therapeutic. And I mean, look, after I put out my first video, I got a really good response, and that was a motivation for me. I think people were very supportive, very much encouraging me, and really supporting what I did, and that gave me a bit more drive to just, you know, keep going. If I'd obviously gotten you know, negative responses, I probably would have thought about it, but people were really nice, and that's just sort of what kept me going. And I love it, and I've been doing it for like, what, 3 years now, I think, and it's just amazing. I have so much fun doing it. Yeah, in terms of risk, I think it started off when I was working, because I used to work full-time when I was studying at uni as well. I was working at CBA, and when I was working there, it was funny because we were actually sitting next to the risk team as well. So they were just, you know, just around the corner. So I used to always be very curious, and you know, I used to see what they used to work on, and I did actually shadow someone for a day as well, just because I didn't know what risk was, and I was very intrigued by it because to me it sounded like, you know, detective work, investigation, and just trying to find out, you know, problems and then giving them recommendations. That's what I thought it was, and honestly it really is that. So ever since I did that shadowing back when I was, what, I think 16, 17, 18, whenever I was working, I can't even remember. So yeah, it's just got me very intrigued. I was interested, and that's when I obviously started, you know, applying for graduate positions within risk, and I've loved it ever since. I don't think I see myself, you know, doing anything else. And you know, accounting, I did try to do and study my CA, but that didn't work out for me. It's just, accounting is not for me. I like the world of risk. It's very dynamic. It's always changing, especially, you know, if you're in banking as well. It's obviously, you know, the Royal Commission happened, lots of regulation changes, so you need to make sure you're up to date with everything, and it's just fun to find a problem and, you know, provide a solution to it as well. No, thank you honestly for having me. I feel like, you know, it's something that I would have really appreciated when I was back in university as well. So I honestly, I'm so happy to share, you know, any learnings, any experience that I have had, because I wish I had the same sort of, you know, mentorship or guidance from someone. So yeah, no, definitely anytime, like, do let me know if you want me to do any more. So no, thank you for having me. Thanks guys, bye. And that is it, you guys. That is the end of the presentation. I really hope you guys found it, you know, helpful, informative. Honestly, I think, as I just mentioned, I think, you know, if I had this advice, you know, back when I was in university, it really would have just made things a lot more clearer for me. I would have known my pathways, my exit opportunities, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm happy to share this. And if you've got any other questions or anything, you know, burning, then definitely email me. It is in the description box below, or you can leave a question in my weekly Q&As as well, which I do on Tuesdays. So be sure to follow me on my Instagram, successbysanjna, and obviously subscribe to my channel here as well down below. And that is it, guys. I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks guys.